just work with me. Some of you think you're going to live forever. You're going to get to 95. You laugh at me for being 22. Wait till you're 95. You're going to get there. So you're 95. And for some reason, your body stops working and you die. And then your funeral happens and no one RSVPs to come to your funeral. No one wants to come. In fact, when you call, they're like, how dare you insult me by inviting me to their funeral? So like you, I don't know if you've seen those adverts, you hire mourners to professionally mourn and cry and scream at your funeral. Does anyone dream of this picture? Do you lie in bed and dream of the fact that people will be embarrassed to be seen at your funeral? Anyone? Now let me ask you a question. Why don't you dream of being insignificant? Why don't you dream of being insignificant? Why do we all have a dream of being important? Why do we all have a dream of being somebody important that everyone wants to be around? Why? And we're going to get to it later, but I want you to think about that picture I just painted. You guys were like, yo, that's so bad. I don't know if you guys realize this, but you really do get professional mourners. I saw it. For like 50 rand, they just come to the funeral. For 100 rand, they cry professionally. For 200, they scream and fall at the grave uncontrollably. You really get that. So if you want to make business, you might get a business there because it seems like people do hire. But we don't want that. All of us want to live a life that is full of laughter, that is satisfying, that is full of joy. All of us want to be loved and accepted. That's why when someone rejects you, it hurts. It's not like you go, oh, well, who cares? You're like, oh, no, they didn't. Not to me. Do you know who I am? Because you want to be accepted and you want to be loved. Everyone wants to fall in love and find their, according to the movies, soulmate, because everyone wants to be loved. And when it comes to our families, when it comes to your country, which is South Africa, in case you were wondering, not Congo, if you're from Congo, because there's a lot of Congolese people, your country is not Congo, it's South Africa. It's South Africa. So your country, South Africa, your family, and your situations. If you think about those three things, we can all think of areas where we would like our family to be better. Maybe your family's fighting all the time. Maybe your father is nowhere to be found, or your mother is nowhere to be found. Maybe your mother tells you you're an idiot the whole time and she wishes you were never born. Maybe at school you're tired of being mocked and people are just idiots at school in a loving way. We say idiots in a loving way. With the country, we're tired of strikes. We're tired of tires burning. I mean, I'm just going to share this. So we were driving back from Rand Girls, and there were these group of COSATU members. I don't know what they were doing, because they were doing it in the middle of the street, and I don't know what the purpose was. They were just shouting and dancing in circles. I don't know what that would impact the country with, but they were doing it. And I literally was like, and at first, one of the people said, it's my lemma. I was like, ooh, and I'm a white person. I'm going to die. And it was a racist. I was like, please, Jesus, help me. Because I was like, what if they burn me and put me on TV or something, okay? I'm just kidding, but you understand, okay? So we all want areas in our country. If you've been to Home Affairs, you are tempted in the area of love and patience and not wanting to kill people. I remember the first time I went to Home Affairs, I was applying for my learners. And I didn't know, normally my mom would help me with these things, and this time they told her she had to wait outside. And I went upstairs, and I didn't know what to do or where to go. So I just stood there. And people looked at me and walked past. So I was like, okay, I better ask someone. So I went to this lady at this desk, and I asked her, where can I go? And she answered, and I didn't hear her. So I went, I'm sorry. And she went, like I had just killed her or something. I don't know. And she was like, just go over there. And I was like, okay. Then I went and stood by the guy that's supposed to help. And he looks at me and just carries on. I'm like, sorry, excuse me. What do I just fill out this form? And then I stood there, I was like, I don't know what to fill out, I don't know what to do this. And then we went to, and this was about not 5 hours later, but it felt like it. We get to the eye testing grounds, and there's about 20 people in front of me, and every person, you're blind, get out of here. I don't even know why you came. You're blind. Eventually I messaged my mom, Mom, am I blind? Because everyone's blind in front of me. I don't know if I'm blind. Can I see properly? Are you sure? I don't want to get told I'm blind when I get there. So if you've been to Home Affairs, you know, our country needs help. Our country needs to get better because our country is not perfect. You go to a hospital. One of my girls were telling me a story where the doctor said they must get a wheelchair. The nurse didn't. The doctor came back and said, why not? And the nurse said, if you dare tell him it was me, you will sleep on the floor. This is a hospital. Yeah, I don't have words. I was going to say some ungodly things. I'll just keep quiet. But the point is, my point with these examples is our country could be better. And we all want our country to improve. I was sharing with Active Youth last week. I showed a picture of a pothole. Everyone knows what a pothole is. Of course, you South Africans, you do know. And I was sharing that my vocal train, it's the truth. Everyone has seen a pothole. If you drive a car, you've been in a pothole. And my vocal trainer was actually sharing with me and my dad the once that he went to Germany. And the Germans didn't know what a pothole was. He tried to explain, and they were like, what the heck is that? Eventually, he had to search a picture on Google and show them this is a pothole. And they were like, why would you have a hole in the road? Why doesn't your government just fix immediately? Then you must fire your government because it's supposed to happen immediately. They can't understand why we leave things broken. So our families stay broken and we complain, but nothing improves. Our country is broken. We sit for 10 hours complaining over tea about home affairs or about the hospitals, but no one does anything to fix the hospital. No one does anything to fix home affairs. And I don't mean you go in there with a gun and fix them. I'm not meaning like that. I'm talking about when was the last time you actually got them to Jesus? Because I don't know if you realize this. When a person encounters Jesus, crime stops. So Tando at Encounter was sharing an example. She was walking home from Sal the one Tuesday night in Rosettenville, and she was walking with guys, and they were playing worship music. So you think that your phone would be protected, even if you're looking at like this on an iPhone in Rosettenville, just because you're playing worship music. But a guy walked up to them and he's like, give me your phone. Obviously, he said it a bit scarily, maybe put on a deep voice, I don't know. But he was like, give me your phone. And eventually they gave the phone, and he didn't even run, he just walked away. And I just thought, if we had to save that guy, and that guy had a true God encounter, he wouldn't steal phones. He'd go and give back every phone. He'd buy them new phones because he would completely change. If people had a real God encounter in South Africa, we wouldn't have strikes. And instead of destroying things to try and get our way, we would fix things to get our way. If people had true God encounters, kids would grow up with both parents. It is completely abnormal that most of you have grown up with one parent or no parents. It is abnormal. You think it's normal. I'm telling you, it is completely abnormal. There is a malfunction in our nation that is a big problem. You are supposed to be born with two parents. Well, you are born with two parents. You are supposed to grow up with two parents. Okay, understand what I say. I think not what I say. You are supposed to grow up, and if you haven't, that's okay. But you are meant to change that when you get married. Don't let your kids go through what if you went through pain. Okay, if people have a true God encounter, people in hospitals won't just die unnecessarily. People will get the loving care they need. If people have a true God encounter in our schools, teachers won't sit on their cell phone the whole time in class. Our kids won't be bunking and slapping teachers. The kids will respect the teachers, and the teachers will pour into those kids and build those kids up. If our country has a God encounter, our police officers will become amazing, authoritative examples that people will respect. We will no longer have people dying unnecessarily because of drunk drivers. We will no longer have bribery going on. It will just work, and our country will be beautiful. And if people have a God encounter, our president will come running to the church for answers instead of the church being kicked out. Because right now, we are trying to be kicked out, and I'm saying done with that. Why must the church become irrelevant? We are not a pimple. Pimples are ugly. We are not ugly. The church is meant to lead the country. Why are we irrelevant? We need to stand up because we aren't standing up. When people have a true God encounter, families will improve. Our situations will improve. Your country will improve. So instead of complaining, when was the last time you had a real God encounter? Not came to an encounter, but had a real God experience. Okay, that encounter helps you get there. But when was the last time you had a real God experience? You should be having one every day when you spend time with God. But when was the last time you got your family to have an encounter? Or you got your teachers, your hospital workers, your EFF workers? Yes, they should also be in church. Malema should be in church one day. Malema should be at an encounter in the front, giving his life, because he also needs Jesus. Okay, so instead of complaining about all the problems, get everyone saved. We need to get teams of people saved and in church. Now, I want you to think of this. Is it possible for me to go and reach 3,000 people a day with Jesus? Think very carefully. Please don't just say yes because it sounds spiritual. I want you to think. Can I personally, with a job, not with a job. We don't have jobs, we have work. With a work, it doesn't sound right, but it's fine. With the work and with active worship and with discipleship, is it possible for me to reach 3,000 people every day myself? You guys at the back don't seem sure. Is it possible? Someone said yes. If you said yes, come and tell me how you do it. I don't know how you do it. But now let me take a different perspective. If I have a team of 100 girls, and in one day we all go out and we're like, okay, 2 of you are going there, 2 of you are going to here, 2 of you are going there, we can reach 3,000 people. Do you see, when you're winning teams and you're building teams, you can do more. So you think you're small, build a team. Because when you build a team, you can go further, you can do more, and you become better. You do. So instead of you doing all the work, you're doing it with people, and at the same time, now you've reached all of EFF, you've reached all of Home Affairs, you've reached South Rand, Baragwanath, yes, there we go, and Joburg 10, and now you're in the process of winning the Malbarton Hospital. Okay? That's what happens when we build teams. So we all dream of this. We're like, wow, that sounds so amazing. It does. That is the ideal life, that everything gets better, that everything improves. But we're not going to get that right if we don't win and build teams. And the other thing is, I want you to think of it. Why at school do people make such a big deal of having the latest clothes? Kids don't have money, but they will find 2,000 for those shoes. I don't know where they find it. I don't want to know. But they find it. You find kids at a Civies Day. Why are people so desperate to dress up and be the best dressed at school? Because they want to stand out. They want to be noticed. God inside of you has placed the desire to be a leader. You want to stand out. You want to be noticed. You want people to like you because you're meant to lead people. Not people please people or follow. You're called to lead people, and that's why deep inside there's a desire for you to be unique. Because leaders stand out. If you're not a leader, you're a follower, you'll look like everyone else, but leaders stand out. And this is what we are born to do, because we're born as managers. Say, I am a manager. You may not be a manager of a company, but you're a manager of your life. So let me ask you this question. How does your room look? If I had to walk into a room, would I be like, wow, it's so clean, it's sparkling, it's like shining? Would I say that? How does your kitchen look? How do the dishes look after you're done washing them? Based on camp, I don't think they're healthy. I think people are dying when you wash dishes because that's not washed properly. How does your school book look? Does it look nice with headings and neat, or is it just scribbled, or is it empty because you never write anything? Let me ask you this question. How does your school attendance look? Are you always absent in every class, or are you absent in certain classes, or are you always in class? For those who are working, how long is your lunch break? 5 hours, 10 hours, the whole day? Is your boss happy with your work if you're working? Let's make this even more uncomfortable, because cool kids right now are very uncomfortable. Let's make this more uncomfortable, shall we? Are you ready? How good are you at submitting, and how often do you get offended? Because if you get offended often, you're a bad manager. You're like below 0. Like, okay, that's painful for me as well. I was like, oh, that just hurt right now. Okay, that's the point. If you're a good manager, you will submit to managers. You will be a good submitter. And if you're not a submitter, as in those phone things that transfer signal, I'm talking about like a person that submits. Okay, if you're a good manager, you will listen to authority even when you don't agree with what they're saying. And one example of this, so there's many times that my leader, it was very long ago though, right? Like 5 years ago, not recent. No, I'm just kidding. Recently, unfortunately. But what happened was there was a situation where I was getting something, and my leader called, and she called me over in a strict way, and I thought, what the heck did I do now? I'm just breathing, and I'm getting in trouble. Like, what? What did I just do? And I sat down, and I was so offended. And when she explained to me afterwards why she had done that, I realized she was actually protecting me from people who had very impure motives and very dangerous motives towards me that I didn't even know they had. Now, that's what your leader does. So you may think they're idiots, or you may not agree with them. They see further than you. God has given them the ability to see more about yourself than you see about yourself. So stop getting offended and start listening. Stop arguing. I'm preaching to myself. And start listening. Okay, what are managers born to do? Number 1, planning. So firstly, If I had to look at your life calendar, can I see what you're doing every day? Have you planned time to win people to Jesus? Have you planned time to see how you can take your life to the next level? Have you planned time to do some studying of God or the Word, or listen to a few active TV sermons? I should get paid for that free advert, by the way. Just a side note to Sashi and the team. I'll be expecting the money soon. I'll give you my bank details. Just a side note. Okay, you should be planning. If you're at school, you should already start planning. What am I going to do outside school? But already now that you're in school, you've got to pay for encounters and stuff. You should be planning how you can be a little businesswoman or man in school, not gambling, but a business in school, outside school, that you can already start raising money. You can start making money now already. Did you realize that? You don't need a job to make money. You can be your own businessman or woman from school. You need to be planning your life. The other thing is you need to organize things. How organized are you? Are you running in half-dressed and you still haven't organized, or are you organized? Have you organized everything beforehand and everything set, and now you can just relax because now not relax, but everything's organized. Then we need to lead, and obviously investing in the right people. You know, it happens so many times, and I've even seen this with myself. So girls I went to school with, I would get so stuck on winning one of them that I wouldn't invite any of the others. And I'd be like, I need to win her, and then I'd meet them for coffee. Then they would stop meeting me for coffee for, I don't know why, because I think I'm a nice person. I think I'm cool, but I don't know. Then they'd stop meeting me, and I'd be stuck like, what the heck? And I need to win them back, and I'd be missing all these opportunities to win these goals. So I don't kick her out my life. But instead of investing in someone who's not interested, find people who are interested. If you invite 100 people and only 10 come, you found 10 interested people. Well done. And so this is what we're moving on to today. How many times, I'm not even, please don't laugh because you'll make yourself guilty already. How many times do you give yourself the choice whether you feel like coming to church or not? Or you know what, I love this one. What's happening at church? Why? I want to see if I'm going to come or not. Child of God, you telling me that you won't come to church because it's a world changer? What's a problem with a world changer? What's a problem with raising money? But people do that. How many times do we base on feelings? You know, we base so many things on feelings. I ask my girls this question all the time. So if you're married and the one day you wake up and you don't feel married, how is that going to work for you? You pack your bags, you move back to your parents' house. My parents would kick me out the house. They've already told me that if I move back. But no, they're not being horrible. They're right. But I don't know why we've even gone to that topic ever. But why do you base things on feelings? You know what I love is my mom even said it again in Encounter. Faithfulness is taking the option away. Stop giving yourself the option to be unfaithful. Stop giving yourself the option to be unfaithful during your quiet times because you're too tired. Stop giving yourself the option to be unfaithful and coming to church because, but the party's happening, or because I just don't feel good. Do you know how many times we as a family have come to church when we have been extremely sick? Like, I'll never forget 2 years ago, album. It's something demonic happened. I don't know what happened. But the whole team started vomiting. And my worst fear is spiders and vomiting. Those two together are like, that's hell for me. You put me in hell with vomiting and spiders. I'm done. I will be finished. And everyone starts vomiting. My parents are vomiting. I didn't sleep that night. I got to album. I don't know how I stayed awake because I didn't sleep. I was like, God, please don't let me vomit. I even sat by the toilet because I thought I was nauseous. Like, that's how bad it was. Okay? And in spite of the fact that they were literally vomiting the whole night, they came to church. Stop giving yourself choices to miss church. If you can come to church sick, man, you will go to your boyfriend or your girlfriend's house sick. You will go to a party sick. You're not going to let a little sneezing noise stop you. We're not wimps. Stop eating at Wimpy. Stop giving yourself the choice to come to church. Please, Steers is way nicer. Wimpy's okay, man. They're okay. But Steers is better. Or, okay, if you've said this, please assume the position because you are under the parable. And if you don't know what that means, please go to Active TV, second advert. And please go and watch what under the parable means. But you're under the parable. You seriously don't have a brain that's thinking if you're giving yourself the choice. And now I want us to go to Jesus. So Jesus was cool. You know, when Jesus shared parables, this is what I thought. Man, Jesus had such interesting stories. Like if Jesus was in today, he would have people coming out of the roof. He would have angels singing. He'd make them appear in real life and just have them singing in the choir there and then make them disappear. He would have like cool things on screen. Jesus would do break dancing on stage. He was good, do it all. And I thought that was why he shared parables. I thought he shared parables to attract people's attention and make like, wow. and in the newspaper, Jesus does it again. Like, I thought it was that. But Jesus didn't share parables for that reason. The reason why he shared parables is, firstly, he wanted to show people something, but he didn't want to exactly make it known unless they came to him and asked him. Sometimes you don't understand stuff because you're not asking questions and you're not actually being accountable to a leader all the time. Did you guys just get that? Sometimes you don't understand things because you're not making the effort to find out, and you're not making an effort to sit with your leader and grow. You've got to make an effort to grow. And so what happens is people are sitting there, Jesus shares the story, and people are like, whoa, I've got goosebumps. Whoa, it's so brilliant. Whoa. People are standing up going, yes. Have you ever seen those pastors when people are quiet until you start preaching about money? Then it's like transformation, help comes, everything comes, and people are like, yes. People are throwing shoes. People are throwing hats, throwing money as well, because it's like, wow. Now that was Jesus. People are standing up, clapping like, whoa, what does it mean? I have no idea, but I've got goosebumps. And they walk away like, that was so cool. That was so cool. I know, right? Did you see when he said, and I felt it when he said that. And that line is deep. I'm going to hashtag it on Instagram. And Jesus goes into our house, and the disciples sit there, and they're like, Jesus, what the heck were you talking about? Like, it was a nice story. We can put it in a children's storybook, but I don't understand what you're saying. Like, what were you meaning? Like, Jesus, for God, you don't always make sense. I'm a bit worried. What's going on? And in Matthew 13, verse 36, it says this. Then he left the crowd and went into house. This is Jesus. And his disciples came to him and said, explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field. He answered, the one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom. So you're good seeds. You're little seeds, okay? The weeds are the people of the evil one. And the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels. As weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out his kingdom, everything that causes sin and all who do evil. So now, he explains the parable to them. And now I'm going back to building teams, because I brought up the building teams in the beginning for a reason. God has called us as the church to build the kingdom. And the only way you're going to actually build the kingdom is if you start building teams. As you win people, you get them in and you start building a team, and you start winning people as a team. Okay, you're going to win 2, I'm going to win 2, you're going to go there, I'm going to go there, and then we'll meet up and we'll phone all of them together. When you start winning people as teams, the kingdom starts growing. But here's the problem. When you start building teams, you show up on the enemy's radar. Now, I don't know if you've watched Spider-Man, the recent one, the little Spider-Man. They fired the cool one and bought a little one. And he's a teenager. That's why I'm saying a little one. Okay, so what happens is these guys are stealing stuff, and they're planning to steal. In case you haven't watched it, if you haven't watched it, what's up, man? Where have you been? What cave have you been in? But anyway, so what happens is they're stealing stuff, and they've gotten some form of alien weapon, and they're now about to steal stuff from Iron Man himself. So they're not too bad. They're quite gangster that they're able to steal from Iron Man. But what happens is little Spider-Man comes, and he is little. It's just, yeah, sorry. But what happens is he starts messing with their plans. He starts realizing what they're doing, and he starts messing with their plans, and he starts trying to stop them. And before that, they didn't know who Spider-Man was. They didn't care. It was just a little boy somewhere there. Who cares who he is? But the minute he started messing with their plans, they were like, who the heck is the Spider-Man? You better find out who he is. I want him dead. I want him wiped out. He's messing up our plans. He's just messed up our whole mission. Now we have to make another plan. That is how you are with Satan. Before you start building teams and before you start winning people to Jesus, you're just another nobody to Satan. You're just like, whatever. Satan, who's that? It doesn't matter. Can we go on to bring up the important people? And the minute you start building teams in church under your leader, and the minute you start winning people, you start showing up on Satan's radar. And he's like, who is this big Kayla? Who is she? I'm not little. I'm not little. Who is this big Kayla? Who is this big Pastor Vicky? Who is this big Pastor Gavin? Who are they? They're messing with my plan. Why are you saying, what are your problems? What are your problems? Okay. So, what happens is now you show up on the enemy's radar. So while you're building teams and while you're winning people, which is good, now the enemy is making plans against you. So now with Spider-Man, while he's trying to stop them, they're also trying to catch him. Now he's got to be clever. He's got to be wise. So please don't think that your life is just going to be perfect the minute you start building teams. You're going to face some trials. But here's the thing. I'd rather live a big life that is exciting with a few trials than have no trials because Satan doesn't care about me and I'm nobody important. And when I die, everyone's like, oh, well, and move on with life. I don't want people to move on when I die. Okay, I don't know if this is prideful, but 100 years later, I still want people going, Kayla Insulin, born in 1990. I'm not going to tell you the time. 1990 something. Well, I told you my age earlier, 1995. Okay, I want people sharing my story about how I made an impact. Because that is what God has called everyone here to. We should change South Africa's history. Nelson Mandela wasn't special. He just chose to stand up when everyone chose to stay down. Are you going to stand up as a church or are you going to stay irrelevant and stay down? Because that's the two options you've got. I'm stepping out.